Going on, everyone? Alex here. I wasn't going to record a video until about 2 minutes ago, and I thought to myself, as I walk around the evening Krakow by the river here, be interesting to put in a commitment for this year to record a new video every day, to challenge myself, but also to give you guys who are interested the opportunity to reach into the darker corners of my mind and pick out some ideas that I might otherwise have not shared. It's not an easy challenge, it's not an easy commitment to make. I've made this commitment before and not succeeded, so it's going to be interesting. More than anything else, just here to kind of hopefully inspire a few of you to dig into your creative capacity and know that you can create a lot more than you think. The first thought that came to my mind when I realized that this commitment might become a thing was, well, what's the point? So I thought that'd be an interesting topic of conversation. What is the point of it all? In life, in work, in everything. We, as humans, can come across this question occasionally. It might just appear in your mind. What's the point? Why do I do all this for? What do I do all this stuff for? Why do I create videos every day? Why do I write articles every day? What's the point? Well, the truth is there isn't any point, because meaning is a human construct. We're getting into a familiar area of discussion, as I often stumble on with my videos, but it's true. Needing a point is a very human-made layer that we apply to the reality of things as we float through this existence. What is the point? Well, there is no point. We only make points, right? We only create context. But the exciting thing about that is it doesn't need to be viewed as something bleak and depressing. There is, what's the point of it all? Oh, there is none. The fact that there is no point, which is absolute truth, there is no point, except the point that we create, allows us to grab hold of the paintbrush and create our own meaning, right? So a perfect example of this is me receiving the insight as I was walking about of, wouldn't it be interesting to create a video every day? Well, what I've done there through accepting that self-created mission is to create meaning, to create a point. Suddenly I've got a point of many. The point of life isn't about one specific thing. There are many aspects to living that make things meaningful and worthwhile that we create. Especially when we've exhausted the handful of things we need to do to survive and perhaps, pass on our genes and that kind of stuff. Plenty of meaning and purpose in that, but some of us aren't even doing those things. So what's the point? Well, we create meaning, and we can choose whatever we want to create. And I think that in itself is meaningful. The fact that we have the capacity as people to go beyond simply doing what's necessary to survive, which is a very kind of animalistic experience, but also an enlivening one. And we have this capacity as humans to decide on whatever we want to create, and that is what has led to all kinds of variety in human output and experience and creativity. We have the ability, the choice, the element of fun in all of that as well, which is being able to choose what we want to create. So in my case, one of many things that has created a point for my life is that I'm creating videos, and there's suddenly a new spark has kind of come out of that. Surely by now I've created 350 plus YouTube videos since I started a couple of years ago, 3 years ago maybe now. How can I possibly come up with new ideas that would interest you guys? Well, in restriction comes creative potential, right? To throw new platitudes at you. But it's true, when we create defined areas in which to play, we have limitation, that creates the ability to be creative in the first place, because creativity springs out of limitation. And in that, we create a point for ourselves. So we have endless variety with no limitation on what we can choose to create and what kind of a point we want to make for ourselves. What's the point of it all? Well, we create the point. And I think a lot of us get stressed because we think there needs to be something more than that, but it doesn't need to be the case. You can create whatever meaning you want for yourself, and that is where the exploration begins. I can't imagine anything more deadening than the idea that there is a path already laid out, that there is already meaning that we just need to discover, that has been laid out for us by somebody else, by some other thing. No, I think that if there is another thing external to us, another being, another force that is creating something, if anything, they are creating the opportunity to find our own meaning. That makes it more interesting. It makes life more about curiosity than expectation. And I think that makes it all a bit more interesting. And I think a lot of people, we get lost because we have this sense that there should be something laid out for us. And as soon as a should comes in, that's where stress arises. I've talked about this in a previous video. Stress is the gap between seeing where we are and the sense of where we should be. So if we think that there's a meaning that we haven't yet reached, we're going to always feel a sense of underlying stress in thinking that we're not there yet. But all we need to do is realize that we can choose the meaning we want to create and have fun with that and create points. If we're looking for a point to life, then it's an open playing field. We have this opportunity that's opened up. The question has opened up. Well, what do you want to create? What would you love to create? What would you love the point to be for you? And in seeing that, that's where you get that kind of life energy re-emerging again. So see what happens when you ask yourself that question. If I knew what the point to living was, what would I choose right now? Maybe for this month or this year or whatever it is. If I had to choose, if I knew what it would be, then what would I choose? We'll leave you with that, guys. That's it before the darkness rolls in. If you haven't joined my Untethered Mind newsletter, there's a lot of unique ideas coming through there that could spur new thinking and new ways of seeing things. I recommend you join. Untetheredmind.substack.com. It's a Substack newsletter, and you'll receive 3 or 4 new short to medium length articles every week that will help you a lot. So do make sure that you're a subscriber over there. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.